everyone, and welcome to Two Player Quest, where I help you on your quest to find the best two-player games for you. In this video, Evacuation by Delicious Games. In Evacuation, you need to evacuate your old planet due to burning, but luckily you have the science to start anew on a new planet. In this game, you evacuate your people and economy from the old planet to the new planet by playing actions. Let's get into it. Evacuation is a game for 1 to 4 players that plays in 75 to 150 minutes. It's at a 3.98 on BoardGameGeek for complexity, so it is a medium to slightly heavy game. It is a light luck game. Most things you have influence on. There are a few things that are a bit luck of the draw, but the rest, everything you have influence on. This is what the board can look like at the start of a two-player game. Here on the left-hand side, we have the stadiums, then we have the new planet. In this case, it's on our left. Then here in the middle, we have our spaceships that you can buy. At the top there, you can see how many stadiums and how much food you need on either planets and in what round. Then here we have our old planets, we have the buildings you can make, and we have the turn order at the top and the progress track going in between everything. I will be explaining the rules for a points game, which is played in 4 years. Now, a year has 7 phases. First is the income phase, where you gain the resources from either planet. Then you check, and the check is to make sure you have enough food and that you spend that food. On your player tableau, you can see the old world and the new world, the sciences you have. There are 4 different sciences decks which are placed on the board at random, so you don't always know what you're going to get. At the bottom here are the actions you can do. Then comes the main portion of this game, which is the actions phase. In the action phase, you can do one of these 4 actions that are shown at the bottom. A player gets an unlimited amount of action cards, and you just place them here to do the action. These actions have a number associated with them. That's the amount of action points you get by playing that action. Now, every action moves you up on this track. So playing the 3rd action will cost you 1 energy, and then so forth. So you need to make sure you can still pay your energy. Once one player has done their action, it is the other player's turn to do their actions. These actions include buying stadiums for happiness, spaceships for transport, or buildings for resources. You pay for your actions with energy and the resources depending on what world you do these actions. More about this is shown on the map. In cleanup, you take away all the actions and place them back on the pile. In the transport phase, you transport the tokens from your old planet to the new planet. You do this by playing spaceships. On this spaceship, you can see at the top there are 2 slots for sand tokens and 2 places for extra resources. And it costs 1 energy to send, as you can see here. Then you adjust the turn order. The turn order depends on the amount of happiness a society has, and if they have more happiness, then they start. If the same have the same amount of happiness, the players get switched round. Then we have the progress track. Now, depending on the amount of cards played, you will have a certain number of steps you have to do on the progress track. If you have, for example, 7 action points, as I shall call them, you have to move your tracks 7, but there can be no more than 1 transition in between your 2 tokens. So 7 would be 4 and 3, for example. This goes in turn order. So now the other player goes. Every transition has different things that happen once you pass them. It states on the board. Then you get bonuses, as it states at the top card there. This end of year card at the top. And then is the cleanup phase, when you clean up your board, place the action cards back in the pile and get ready for the next year. I would say it takes about 20 minutes to teach this game to new people. Then once they've played their first game, they will fully understand how the game works. In the first game, you make mistakes, you do things you think are extremely stupid after a bit. So after the first game, you really know what you're doing, and you can get going on the advanced rules that are in the rules if you want them. Evacuation is the kind of game you could make a spreadsheet for, and then optimize the hell out of it. So if that's something you like doing, optimizing, calculating, planning your turns, this is an excellent game for you. There are certain things that you cannot plan for. There are certain piles that are drawn at random. But if you have enough resources, you can redraw the piles until you get what you want. So if that's something you like, optimizing, planning, and managing stuff, this is an excellent game for you. We're still uncertain whether this is a good fit for us. There are things we like about this game, and there are things we dislike about this game. One of the main things we dislike about this game is its unforgivingness. It is basically all about optimization, and it doesn't have much leeway for taking a wrong action or an action that wasn't quite as good as another one. Plus, we sometimes feel it's a bit limited, be it in the amount of actions you can do or the amount of years you can take if you play with the points mode. But the things we do like is you have the advanced rules that you can play with, which add a lot. We like the concept moving from one economy to a new one and building up the economy on the new planet. And the progress track is really interesting, and it's a fun dynamic to add because it makes you think about how many actions and what actions you want to do. We're just still up in the air whether this is a good fit for us. The only player interaction there is in this game is basically people getting in your way. People taking stuff you wanted or placing things where you wanted to place them. So, do with that information what you will. If you have more players, you'll have more people getting in your way. If you don't like that, play it with less players. If you don't mind it, play it with more. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching our review of Evacuation. If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, put them in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you next time on 2 Player Quest.